Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to SPLIFFTV. About to get this interview in with Triiip the Hippy. It's gonna be a good one, bros. Just kicking, talking, no script, no plans, nothing. Let's do it. What's up, my brother?
What's good, G?
Introduce yourself to the people.
It's Triiip the Hippy, producer, skater, professional, chillmatic type shit.
Word. All right, so you say you're a producer. What's the deal with Lo-Fi? Like, that seems to be the new wave coming out for independent producers or people who just, starting off.
It's that wave because people want to vibe to stuff other than just people speaking with you. Like people it's just smoother that way, and I feel like it's appreciated because the feel is really close to that beginning of hip hop type of vibe. So
Right. I noticed
that's
that.
where the appreciation really starts at.
Yeah, I was listening to some Outkast, Aquemini, and some other players, Cadillac Music and all that stuff. And I'm listening to the beat, and I'm just like, yo, these people, they rapping over lo-fi right now.
Real talk. If you listen to some of those beats, but it's so especially even Wu-Tang beats, bro. That can be considered lo-fi hip hop. Lo-fi, technically, the word lo-fi is actually on our equipment. And I actually learned that after I really dove into lo-fi, that's actually a description of the sound, because it's kind of like a bit. It's kind of like a lower type of bit. So that bit rate is really where it's at. It's you giving raw. It's more raw, kind of gritty, instead of that super digital, altered, mastered, kind of crispy digital sound and stuff that. It's that more real raw sound. And most of the time in lo-fi, you'll hear some type of background sound, paper rustling, or streets, or outside and stuff like that. That's really what the lo-fi try to stick to, on a kind of aesthetic kind of vibe.
I want to talk about Controllerize. For the people who don't know, explain what Controllerize is and how you got into it.
Well, Controllerize is a family of producers. We started as a Facebook group probably about 3 years ago. It was a group called More Beats, Less Sleep. There's still a Facebook group. It's actually a really good outlet also for people who might be producing, want production advice, want just a community of producers. You can join that group. It's a really open group on Facebook. It's called More Beats, Less Sleep. And we pretty much grew from there, where people would be in the group and start talking about yo, who's in Atlanta, yo, who's in Philly, yo, who's in New York. And all the Atlanta producers started coming together. We could come in the middle ground with anime and gaming on top of the outside of music, kind of conversation. So then we was that should be the theme. So that it just kind of came from the fact that we realized that over 100 people started joining our Facebook Messenger group, and we were all in the same place, and we all had the same interests, and we used that common interest as an advantage. And it just began to be more so of a point where you work on your music all week, and then that one day of the week you get to showcase it. And that's a great feeling when it comes down to being a producer, trying to get exposure, trying to get exposed to others' styles and sounds and everything like that. And we made it very strict that we didn't want it to be anything mainstream. We didn't want it to grow into rappers coming in wanting to do performances and stuff like that, and trap music. I mean, trap music is acceptable, and we love trap music, but it was strictly beats. That was the point blank of it. So we had people started coming from everywhere after the first 5 or 10 controllerizers. we saw the growth happen that quickly. Like, it was crazy. I mean, it was right there at the heart of Georgia State. We were actually connected to Georgia State Commons, so people could literally just walk. And we had like nothing but college kids in there like the first couple of times, but people would just walk past it and hear the music, hear the vibes. We started playing anime outside, and they would just be attracted to walk in. And again, we started it off as a completely free event, and it was just like, come in, get some pizza, get some beer, listen to some music, chill. And we didn't start the gaming part until the end of our first venue, the beginning of our second venue. So the first venue was a pizza place called Slice. It's now a hot dog place. They actually closed down. We stayed with them until they closed down. Well, until the person sold the place. But they pretty much started asking, they had like a little arcade station like in the back of this place, and people were playing it, and people were like, yo, can we play like some more up-to-date games? Like, can we play like some now games? Like, it'd be dope if like we got all these TVs in here, somebody should like just bring a PlayStation, we could just play PlayStation at the bar or something like that. And it began joking, but then when it became common knowledge to us in the group chat that it was like, hey, that was something that was demanded, then we was like, yo, I'm gonna bring my PlayStation this week, and he's gonna bring his Xbox this week, and we got fighting games, and we just started competitions. And I remember I actually did the brackets and hosted the first controllerized gaming competition with Tekken. That was when we moved over to Edgewood. We was actually at Speakeasy. And then we started getting love from A3C. Things started growing a lot more from there. And now to this point, like, everybody who's pretty much been there from the beginning, we just see ourselves as like, these producers that were just pretty much trying to build an outlet, and we're like alumnus to this like now.
Right.
So and I remember it was a struggle at first, man. Because we were all in there doing this stuff, not expecting to make any money, bringing everything that we got collectively, and I'm just like, the shift and the growth that, it has happened since then, it's just crazy. We started doing pop-up shows, different states, different places in Georgia. We had a show in Savannah that got a lot of love from SCAD. They started playing all of our stuff on the radio, like on the regular. That's when it was a culture shock for me with Controllerized, to be honest, because I didn't know Controllerized was as big as it was while we was going through that stuff. Like, while we was going through everything. But the live stream also made that exposure like so big, and I like never noticed how big the live stream was. I knew that people were chiming in from like California and other countries and stuff like that, but it was like, always like a dozen, like, that little dozen that was just like, hey, I'm from somewhere else, like, this is dope. And it wasn't until like I went to another state, or I went to it happened to me in Savannah, it happened to me in another state up north in Wisconsin, but I was wearing a Controllerized shirt, and I walked into a skate shop, and did beats and anime, you already know that's a big thing with skaters.
Right. But
I literally walked into the skate shop, and dude noticed me and was like, yo, Controllerized is in the building. Yo, you're and he was trying to remember my name, and he was just hype as hell to see me. And it was crazy, because I'm just sitting there like, dude, like, you real deal know where I come from, like, you know about me, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I bet that was a great feeling,
bro. It was a shocking feeling, man. It was crazy. And he wanted to play my stuff in the store. He was like, yo, can you type in your SoundCloud real quick and play the stuff in the store, man? He was like, bro, when I told him my name, I was like, yeah, I'm Triiip. And he was like, oh yeah, bro. He was like, you haven't played in a couple weeks, but I remember like one of your sets or something like that. And it was just crazy. I was just like, dude. But yeah,
we definitely gonna see you turn it up at Controllerized tomorrow.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
So I know we on a rough time schedule, so just got a few more questions.
For sure.
If you could work with any major celebrity, dead or alive, any genre, who would it be?
That's a tough one. I'll go with a live just because, you know, if they're dead, you know, I'm just gonna, you know, leave their legacy where it is.
Right.
Nothing that they did, you know,
Right,
never be redone type thing. But if they're alive, you said two?
And
Or
one.
you just said one? I was wishing you said two.
Alright, we can do two.
My top would probably be Mick Jenkins. Alive, like I really like to work with him. And Smino. It can be either one. They're really dope artists. And that flavor that they have in their music and the flavor that they have in their actual like composition of song structure is like what I aim to like shoot for with my production. So I feel like, you know, it would go hand in hand. Nothing stays the same type thing. Like, you know, like it's nothing that's like just gonna be too familiar with you. You know what I mean? And I love that about them as an artist. So I definitely like to work with them. It would, yeah. And I mean that would just be on. There's a lot of people I really like to work with, but that's just on the like producer artist kind of thing.
All right. Tell the people where they can find you on social media.
Well, everything is pretty much the same across the board. On YouTube, it's Triiip the Hippy. On social media, it's Triiip the Hippy. It's traditionally spelled with 3 I's in the Triiip. But you know, you can spell it TRIP, it'll still come up. Kind of doubled up on the domains. That's the same for, you know, iTunes, any stream service, Google Play, Amazon. Any of my projects will be on there. Bandcamp. It's the same all across the board. Triiip the Hippy.
Well, thank you for letting me interview you. Thank you for being first guest on SPLIFFTV.
For sure, man.
No, I'll catch you at Controller Rods tomorrow. We gonna rock out, liquefy the brains, all that. Alright, people, for tuning in to SPLIFFTV. That was Triiip the Hippy. I'll leave his links for his YouTube channel and his SoundCloud down in the description. I know that lighting was pretty bad. You know, I know there's background noise, but I'm an amateur. Deal with it. We'll get better along in the future and stuff like that. So, thanks for tuning in. You know, like, subscribe, comment, share, critique. You know, peace.